Blog Talk Radio.
You don't understand, see, you don't get it.
People don't understand,
I'm a free man.
Rodney
I don't mean just out of
King.
jail. I am
They just don't
free at
understand
last.
Corey Jackson, man, more magic ever. How many more, man? My brother. We gotta get out of stop, man. We gotta get free.
I have
Gotta.
Every day and night I got angels in flight watching over me. I want you to see they got my back when the devil attacks. When he raises his head they cut no slack. Whatever I need I can pray it. Wait for my God to come along and okay it. If I want to get my praise on I'll play it. Sit back, enjoy these tracks. I'm about to blow. Here we go.
this week's edition of the Men Empowered Commentary right here on the Pine Belt's original Urban FM. It is Thursday, February the 13th, 2014. My name is Brother Malachi of the Men Empowered Organization. As always, we wish to thank Mr. Vernon C. Floyd and his staff for inviting us here to share with you absolute knowledge and truth. We can be reached at 601-297-2927 and online at menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. And our web address is www.blogtalkradio.com/Men Empowered. Once again, Hollywood puts a Bible story on the big screen. First, it was the Passion of Christ. Now it's the movie of Noah. I asked the question, have they read the book based on this true story, the Bible? Vernon Johns, born April 22nd, 1892, and passed away June the 11th, 1965, was an American minister and civil rights leader who was active in the struggle for civil rights for African Americans from the 1920s. At times, he has been rated as one of the three greatest African American preachers, along with Mordecai Johnson and Howard Truman. He is considered by some as the father of the American Civil Rights Movement, having laid the foundation on which Martin Luther King Jr. and others would build. He was Dr. King's predecessor as pastor at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama from 1947 to 1952, and a mentor of Ralph Abernathy, Wyatt Walker, and many others in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. In 1915, Johns graduated from Virginia Theological Seminary in college. Johns then studied at where one of his classmates, Robert, he graduated in 1918 and attended the University of Chicago's Graduate School of Theology. He died of a heart attack in Washington, D.C. on June the 11th, 1965 at age 73. After graduating from the University of Chicago, Johns moved between various congregations in Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. In 1926, he was the first African American to have their work published in Best Sermons of the Year. Johns married Altona Trent. She was a pianist and music teacher who became a professor at Alabama State University. It was from her connection to ASU that she was able to influence Dexter Avenue Baptist Church to hire Johns as pastor in October of 1948. While pastor at Dexter Avenue, Johns pushed for prosecution of rapes of black women, which he got initiated, although none resulted in convictions, and also on one occasion managed to get a refund from a bus driver in protest of discrimination against African Americans. Johns also attacked the elite's attitude of his congregation, attacking them being unwilling to do manual labor and selling farm products from outside the church. In Prince Edward County, Virginia, Robert Morton School was the scene of a student strike for better conditions in 1951. One student leader, Barbara Rose Johns, was the niece of Vernon Johns. Though he was in Montgomery at the time of the student strike, many report that he was instrumental in giving advice. His wife was a former teacher in the Robert Morton High School, and he still had numerous familiar ties in the community of Farmville and the surrounding area. The Johns family knew the social politics of the area. The local NAACP chapter saw an opportunity to push for change and help the students continue the fight after the 10-day strike was over. This case, Davis versus County School Board of Prince Edward County, will be combined into others and brought to the U.S. Supreme Court as Brown versus Board of Education. A television film was made in 1994 called Road to Freedom, the Vernon Johns story, written by Leslie Lee and Kevin Arkadie, based on an unpublished biography by Henry W. Powell of the Vernon Johns Society. The motion picture was directed by Kenneth Fink and stars James Edward Jones in the title role. Former WNBA superstar Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who had long expressed an interest in African American history, was the film co-executive producer. To bring me to this point, in the new movie Noah, actor Russell Crowe plays the part of Noah, an exceptional actor, but how can he play the part of a black man? Yes, Noah in the Bible was as well as the entire family. This form of graven images sets in our mind more than what we read. Yet in the Bible we see clearly that Noah is a black man, but the images we see tells another story, setting the stage for identity theft. Do not forget that Jacob, along with his mother Rebekah, in Genesis chapter 27, uses identity theft to fool their father Isaac that he was Esau. Now the tables have been turned. It is Esau's descendants that are using identity theft, saying they are Jacob's descendants. After watching this movie, The Vernon Johns Story, it came to me that we are letting Hollywood teach us who we are and who we are not. Vernon Johns took a stand against the injustice of Jim Crow laws and got into the people of Montgomery, Alabama's mind to whether they do something and not just let things be. If it was not for him, there would have not been a Rosa Parks moment or even a civil rights movement. I love the phrase in this movie. He says, "If you see a good fight, get in it." I, for one, as a parent, tell my kids is truth. If we don't, then Hollywood will tell the story another way that is not the truth. The views and opinions of this commentary is strictly of the Men Empowered organization and not the opinions of this radio station. My name is Brother Malachi, and this is our commentary. Shalom.
Things are the same as they've ever been. Got people walking around glorifying the sin. Everyone trying to gain acceptance. Activists creating divisions based on the reflection of a lifestyle. That's why the young are going buck wild. And when you mention Jesus Christ, they get hostile. Temptations in their peripheral vision, and the life they wanna lead doesn't agree with religion. Don't believe me? Watch when you turn on the TV. All commercials are based on a man's fantasies. Money, jewels, cars, and fast bucks, they're all connected, and they get shoved in your face every 50 seconds. It seems to me as if we lost our power when it takes someone else's pain to make us laugh. There are those who use the staff to keep from the fall and can understand the message when the shepherd calls. Come on. Who do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and I promise tomorrow your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Whom do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Come on. It's safe to say the world's in the daze. Their brains must be clouded cause they still seem amazed. They conceal the truth and hold on to their ideas and question why their daughters dress like Britney Spears. The love of money is the root of all evil, so I guess that's why people sling before they are legal. Some before their teens, doing it for the dream, because money brings you love and that's the way that it seems. I'm tired of seeing babies getting shot in the streets. Opening up the newspapers now just gives me the creeps. But who's to blame for this outbreak of violence? You could start with the school system, who changed the curriculum from God to science. Cause now it's a different alliance, except to curse his name, Jesus is used as an appliance. When in need, take him out, when not, he's back in storage. That's why they have an attitude that we consider porous. Wake up. Who do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Who do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Come on. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Cause people will still laugh at the sound of his name. But that's expected because they don't know the truth. And God, please forgive them for they know not what they do. But that's a testament to what some Christians lack. Not knowing enough scripture to launch a kind of attack. Easily getting caught up in the ways of the world. And struggling every day to make time for his word. That which I wish not to do, I do. That which I wish to do, I don't do. In all truth, that's an issue I struggle with every day. And I can understand why we forget to pray for this country and also every one of our leaders. But when they make bad decisions, we feel they out to cheat us. We must pray for everyone from border to border and take heed, cause the devil lurks around the corner. Come on. Who do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Who do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Whom do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Whom do you believe in? Whom do you follow? I hope you choose today and not promise tomorrow. Your beliefs will decide how you live your life. Make sure you discern all the truth from the lies. Come on.
We welcome you to this week's edition of the Men Empowered Commentary right here on the Pine Belt's original Urban FM. It is Thursday, February the 20th, 2014. My name is Brother Malachi of the Men Empowered Organization. As always, we wish to thank Mr. Vernon C. Floyd and his staff for inviting us here to share with you absolute knowledge and truth. We can be reached at 601-297-2927 and online at menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. And our web address is www.blogtalkradio.com/Men Empowered. With less than 2 weeks left in the month of February for Black History Month, we cannot count all the history our people have made, but we would like to share with you the beginning of the history we have made in this country. It starts on ships that made the voyages to cross the Atlantic to our present destination. From the book entitled What is Wrong with Being Black by Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, we look at Western slavery. England's aspiration to gain a colonial foothold on the North American continent influenced its commitment to slave trade. The first Africans to that part of the world were brought as indigent servants, although the Spanish and Portuguese had been involved in elaborate slavery, creating slave plantations a century earlier. Slaves were taken by the Portuguese on the Guinean coast for sale in Lisbon as early as 1444. Following the importation in 1619 of indentured slaves to America, which boosted the economy, a new race-based slavery system developed. The majority of African Americans who were to end up in that part of the world were to be held as slaves for life. Laws were to be promulgated and perpetrated slavery. The state of Massachusetts became the first colony in 1641 to legalize slavery, while Virginia in 1663 passed a law that a child born in slavery, like the mother, is also a slave. The unjust laws was to be passed by almost every one of the states in North America, with Georgia being the last of the British North American colonies to legalize slavery in 1750. The kind of slavery the people were introduced to, according to Basin Davis in his book, The African Slave Trade, was different from that which was practiced on the continent of Africa. Slaves on the continent of Africa owned property, and sometimes owned slaves themselves. Slaves were never passed from one generation to the other except for a few rare cases. By the start of the 16th century, almost 200,000 Africans had been transported to Europe and islands in the Atlantic. They were to become workers for the new slave masters in Spain and Caribbean islands. This was because the Native Americans they met on most of those islands were resistant and therefore fled from the Europeans. With the boom in the production of cotton, the Europeans saw the African slave as the answer to the shortages of labor. The African continent provided cheap labor. The trading of humans, was particularly the west coast of Africa, continued for 300 years. The Europeans made more than 54,000 voyages to trade human beings and sent at least 10 to 12 million Africans to the Caribbean and the Americas. The slave trade devastated the continent of Africa and the Africans in general. People were taken with disregard for their culture and traditions. Families were fragmented, people were abducted, friends told on friends, and guns were introduced into the culture of these people. Men and women were unwillingly captured and made to walk a long way, sometimes from hindermost places of Africa to the coastal regions where the slave masters, in collaboration with the coastal chiefs, had built forts. Some of these walks from the hinterlands were close to 1,000 miles, and when they were packed on slave ships, they were packed ankle to ankle, wrist to wrist, and chained in pairs. The women provided sexual satisfaction for the ship's owners. When disease like diphtheria broke out on the ships, it killed many as they wallowed in their own feces and urine. They were treated in the most inhuman way. Whenever a ship was overloaded, live slaves were thrown overboard. Slavery history grew large as the invention of the cotton gin and the booming southern economy of the United States fueled the push for more slaves. Every uprising by the slaves were quarreled. The Haitian Revolution of 1791 to 1804, the Gabriel Revolution of the 1800s, the Denmark-Venice plot of 1822, and Nat Turner's revolt of 1831 are reminders of the desires of every man, bond or free, to taste and live in freedom. The death rate among slaves was very high, and to replace those losses, plantation owners who had brought the slaves encouraged the slaves to have more children. After all, children who were born in slavery were slaves themselves. Women were encouraged to sleep with many men so that children would be born. They gave the women the false hope that they would gain freedom after they produced 15 children. The world of southern United States was built on the backbones of these African slaves we know as Hebrew Israelites, also known as Negroes here in America. The large landowners who would usually own well over 100 slaves relied heavily also on slave drivers who suppressed the slaves, as well as supervised the slaves. It is estimated that by the 1850, about 1,000 families who owned slaves and plantations had an income of about 15 million, while another 660 families who owned between 15 or more slaves had an income of 60 million. This kind of money certainly was very high for the 18th centuries. That brings me to some key scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32. The sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verses 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 62. And ye shall be left few in numbers where ye were, as the stars of heaven for multitudes, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Most High God shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor the fathers have known, even wood and stone, which is representing idolatry. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68, our final scripture. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spoke unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondsmen and bondswomen, and no man shall buy you, or in other words, no man shall redeem thee. As you know, the United States, a slave country, no wonder why we were running away and going to north of Canada for freedom. With all this in mind, our contribution to this land should and cannot be ignored. The views and opinions of this commentary is strictly of the Men Empowered organization and not the opinions of this radio station. My name is Brother Malachi, and this is our commentary. Shalom.
I know who you are. Yeah, I say I know who you are. Yeah, come on. We stiff-neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious.
I know who you are, boy, you need some help. Open your mind and free yourself. Truth and knowledge overpowers wealth. Put education on the shelf and take a second look and see which route you took. Fall in love with a bunch of crooks and forget you're the children of that book. To the enemies they told you, made you believe anything they told you, and left you with two decisions. You could choose death or choose religion. But you fell off Jacob's ladder and chose to listen to the master. Got caught in the devil's rapture, now your life is a whole disaster.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know where you're going. We stiff-neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, I style.
We're the only ones can't see it. Got the truth but don't believe it. Cursed with being disobedient. The days enslaved in Egypt. Then Moses said, let my people go. Still we act like we ain't know who was our father. We didn't even bother to listen. And not to mention we blatantly worship others. We went from one to another. We threw stones at our brothers. When they was trying to just bring us back to the truth, there's nothing wrong with that. Like Stephanos in the book of Acts. All he did was take the path.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know where you're going. We stiff-neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, I style.
I know the keepers of the law were standing tall, staying righteous above them all. What's the call, coach? The other teams fit with many men that's lost hope, cause they don't know the identity, but I do, so they envy me. Cause you're a nation of people that's so rebellious, accusers of your brother. When he speaks the truth, you get jealous, but I stay one accord with all my righteous fellas, cause we know who we are, there's nothing else that you can tell us. Nothing.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know where you're going. Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know where you're going. Stiff-neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, I style. To be like them, we try. Our own culture, we deny. So unaware, we blind. We searching for a sign. I know who you are. know who you are.